Hi everyone, I'm Jules Tush, a speech pathologist. The topic for today was about NDIS changes, funding, anything related to the early childhood approach. So that is children who are receiving NDIS funding. It's typically 0 to 6 years without a diagnosis. And that's the one I'll go into a little bit more about today, because that's the one that's having the biggest impact for a lot of families. So previously it was early childhood, early intervention, and the local area coordinators were, dispersed into groups like Northcott, Cerebral Palsy Alliance, and a few others. So that's changed a little bit. Northcott is still an NDIS partner, so they're still helping people organise their packages and ensure that that family has 12 months of therapy or funds for therapy for that child. So depending on your area will depend on where your coordinator is placed and under what company they work for. So for our area, it's Northcott, so that's the North Shore area. Best thing to do, highly recommend this, if your child has received a diagnosis of anything, is to let your local area coordinator or the person who put your plan together, let them know. Email them, call them, stay in touch with them when something changes. The reason I'm saying this is because a lot of people's NDIS packages are running out and they're not being renewed or they're not being managed. They're just kind of aging out of that early childhood approach. So if your child hasn't got a diagnosis now, they're more likely to just let your plan expire and kind of leave you, which is not helpful for busy parents. And as we know, therapy costs are quite extensive and ongoing. So do stay in touch, email through any reports, any diagnosis letters, any information you have from your pediatrician or your doctor, and make sure you're staying in touch with them. The email address should be something, so for Northcott, it's northcott@ndis.gov.au. They will make sure so the manager there will make sure that you have a coordinator, someone who can look over your child's plan. So some of the changes are, unfortunately, they're not doing those 2-year plans anymore for the young children, those early intervention ones. Everyone is pretty much getting a 12-month plan. They're breaking up the funding into blocks so that you can't use it all at once, or you can't kind of do intensive therapy or spend large amounts and then kind of run out and have nothing for the rest of the year. So they're basically allocating a quarterly amount for your child to spend on, say, speech, OT, physio, psych, etc. So it is helpful in a way because it helps people budget. Most people I know have a plan manager. That's what we have. They manage your plan. They're meant to keep on top of your bills, so pay for your therapy, make sure that you've got enough funds. Look, we haven't had a huge amount of response from our plan manager. It's not like they tell us our plan's about to expire, which it is, but they haven't told us that. They don't really stay in touch too much. But look, it's definitely better than being self-managed. For us personally, where self-managed is you make the payments yourself, you claim them back through NDIS yourself. And so you've got to really be, organized and great with invoices and making sure that things are getting paid on time, etc. So some of the other changes are, when NDIS are looking at providing funding, they're looking at the capacity, like the functional capacity of that child. So how they are engaging in the world around them, with their family, how their learning's going. And it's more about their capacity to engage in their environment. Are they, do they have any disability areas? Are they struggling in certain areas specifically? Or, or should I say, as opposed to, yes, they have a diagnosis, so we're just going to give funding. I believe all children who need help and assistance and have delays or difficulties do need funding. I truly believe that is one of the best uses of our tax dollars is to support those early years, especially children and young families. But now instead of looking at what's written on a piece of paper or a diagnosis, they're really going to be looking at the impact of that diagnosis or the impact of that difficulty on the child. As you know, just if I'm talking about autism specifically, if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. So every person is unique and different, similar to Down syndrome. So again, these things, they can fall on a spectrum of level of supports, how that impacts that individual within their specific life and their circumstances. So make sure your reports and letters talk specifically about your child and what difficulties they are having. And the other tip that I will say is if and when you do get a call from NDIS and they want to catch up or chat about your services or how your child's plan has been going, sometimes that is your plan review, but they haven't worded it or said that in the phone call. So some parents have said, oh, things are great, they're coming along, boom, there goes kind of their therapy, or they might be documenting that as a perceived report from the parent that child has progressed to a level where they no longer require financial support or specialized therapies. So just bear in mind, if you have got a diagnostic letter or an update, make sure it's correct, send it through. If someone does contact you from NDIS, find out why. Ask them if this will be documented. Ask them if it will impact your funding capacity or have any implications for your child's package. Really be aware of who you're working with and get those NDIS review reports early. It can be done up to 3 months before your plan expires. So our son's plan expires very soon. We've had no contact from NDIS. Our therapists didn't flag it. Luckily, I'm aware of this process. So I'm doing all the legwork, lots of phone calls, lots of emails, lots of contact. In many ways, like, you will be your child's key worker, you will be their case manager. So just be aware to have things in your diary, set alarms, set alerts, because, you know, at the end of the day, you really can just rely on yourself in many ways. This is a new system, the NDIS, and look, providers, I'm a provider myself, we're all doing our best, but at the end of the day, it's best to know when your child's plan expires and what's going on, and have those conversations yourself than to rely on your speech therapist, your occupational therapist, you know, the psych or someone, because they also will have lots of other clients. So I hope you found this helpful. If you do have any other questions, let me know. But just basic recap, there have been changes to the NDIS, specifically early childhood approach, and they're reducing packages or cutting off some people's packages. So stay up to date, get reports, advocate for your child if they're still requiring those services. Get in with a pediatrician. Having a diagnosis, having something written on a piece of paper is literally that. And if anything, it's providing explanation, opening doors, providing resources, helping support you. And you don't have to tell everyone about it. You don't even have to tell your child about it. It's something to get the ball rolling and to really make the most of those early years, the 0 to 6 or 0 to 7 now. And that's what I'm passionate about. So if you are hesitating or you think my child doesn't really need it, I would rather see you go and speak to a pediatrician and really make the most of these early years and the early childhood approach while you have potential access to it. Keep asking me questions. I'm happy to answer, and best wishes with your plan reviews, everyone. And I'll update a new video soon.